Hello, minasan. This is Yuki,
And
and
today I'm going to talk about a topic that I have been anticipating for a very, very, very long time. And it is gender Manhua. Yeah, I know some of you have your own reservation about the topic, some of you don't really enjoy it. So I'm just making this short list of recommendations for people who are really into it and who are interested in quite unusual plots too. Because I know, like out there are probably a lot of gender swap kind of mangas and webtoons. However, I would say that sometimes they get a bit repetitive or a bit annoying. So always I'm looking for something that is slightly more interesting, again while keeping the tradition tropes that we all know. So the first one I would like to talk about today is I Chose the Emperor ending. It is this one. Yeah, this is the cover. And the main idea about it is that we have our main character, Marianne, or also called Drino, who's from modern day Japan or Korea, and who was a well known scientist. She created a special VR in order to go to medieval age because she's such a huge fan of medieval stories, and she made herself a web novel, and she was like, I want to deep dive into this web novel that I created myself, that I set up the characters myself about it, and I want to enjoy my favorite characters to the fullest. However, what happens is that she gets stuck into this medieval age, and she cannot get out. She cannot go back to modern Korea at all. And so she gets kidnapped inside this castle, and she decides to go undercover as a male technician called Drino. And the reason why she decided to hide her gender in this case, because in medieval ages, if you are a woman and you have scientific knowledge, nobody would hear you out. So she was thinking like, okay, if I am a male character, if I am a man here, then if I give them suggestions for creating weapons, and if I want to maneuver a lot of men, then this is my best chance, I guess. And so some people online compared it to Doctor Stone. I think that's fairly a very good comparison because the main character is so chaotic, and she goes from being a kidnapped servant to herself destroying the prison and then kidnapping the prince to the castle, and then making a blockade, and then starting to threaten the rest of the world by saying that she would kill the prince if they don't fulfill her demands. However, what if actually nobody responds back? What if the people in the castle stay captive forever? And what if they start running out of food while being surrounded by enemies? So that's a good thing. Let's hope that things turn out well. Now I'll move on to the next one I would like to present today, which is Caught by the Villain. I don't know if you have ever seen the cover somewhere, but the story of Caught by the Villain is about Selena Ivan, who is the daughter of a renewed swordsman. She's a fencing prodigy, and she has an identical twin brother called Celestine. Usually, as you know, in medieval times again, that the male representative of the family is the one who goes and, like do their duties to the kingdom. Like they become the soldiers in the kingdom, they serve the king, and they sacrifice their lives for the empire. However, Celestine is a very irresponsible twin brother. He ran away with his lover, and he also left his sister Selena in a very difficult position. Because if they don't present any male like soldiers to the empire, then their family would be labeled as traitors, their reputation would be in danger, and they might be even put at the risk of offending the imperial family, and especially the Prince Ignus. So what Selena does is that she disguises herself as her brother Celestine. She takes on her brother's name, and she goes and be part of the examination for becoming a knight. Of course, if you are a very experienced swordsman, you will also recognize other experienced swordsmen. So even if you fake like you are not talented or you fake like you are not really good enough, another really, let's say, knowledgeable swordsman will see through it, will see through the facade that you are making. And Selena herself, she has memories from the web novel she read, like again an transmigration type of Manhua, and she knows that she has to avoid Prince Ignis at all costs because he's the villain in the story she read back then. she has to make sure that he doesn't realize her real identity, and definitely not to get caught by the villain. But here the good question is Prince Ignis really the villain that you shouldn't be caught by? This I will leave it up to your imagination. Now, I would like to talk about the next one, which is The Duke's Servant. The Duke's Servant is a story about Lindsay, who's herself, she's a top secret mercenary. She enters the Duke's home as a male spy in order to, well, the Duke here's name is Rish, who's a famous womanizer. She enters his home as a spy in order to understand what's happening with a series of disappearance of a lot of men and women in his region. And of course she has to disguise herself as a male servant not to get caught, in order to collect also as much information as possible, because when you are working with fellow servants, then there is a lot of gossips, there is a lot of information circulating formally and informally, and you can get to know a lot more about the real estate. However, I have to note here that we have a yandere male lead tag. If you are not really comfortable with yandere male characters, then maybe this is not for you. However, there is a lot of comedy in this show. I remember laughing so hard. Another manhwa I would like to speak about today, My Fair Footman. And before I dive into the summary, I would like to let international fans that sometimes while they are reading from various illegal websites beside Webtoon and other formal ways to read manhwas, is that the names of the certain characters might change during different seasons or even during different chapters. And the reason is because of the translation teams. Sometimes the different translation teams, when they pick up the manhwa, they decide that that's not the right pronunciation of the name, or sometimes the character name interpretation is closer to one way or another. Some way, because we don't have a choice. But anyway, so the main character here, you might find her called as Ariana or Avery or Elijah. Well, some people settle down for Elijah, but it's up to you which one you pick. And it's about this girl who had been forced to hold a contract between her mother and the heir's father to be a footman until the age of 18. And just to explain here, so her mother was a servant at a contest home. And this contest son, he dies. So they decide to, force Elijah to be a boy until the age of 18. And if her identity is not discovered, if she can play the role that is usually made for men perfectly, then she will get back her identity, her gender, everything by the age of 18, and she can go and build up her own career and live her life the way she wants it. So we have here a female lead that has been in some ways forced into this position. She doesn't really want to hide who she is, but she also doesn't want to put the people who got her into this contract in a difficult position. She wants to hold her word, her promise. And also at the same time, it's emphasizing societal gender roles, societal expectation, and struggle for freedom and self-expression. So if you are into these themes, if you are very interested in what will happen to Elijah and basically the continuous teasing by the Earl's son, then can go ahead and read it. Personally, I really loved so much this manhwa. It was very enjoyable, and it's one of those manhwa that I read while they're still ongoing. And I have personally a lot of memories with it, so I highly recommend it. Thank you. Bye bye.